behind the cab of a Liebherr 1300, the first door. Open that door to look for the main battery disconnect, and it's on the right. You turn to the right, reach in there, and you see a red switch. That's your main kill switch. There are other emergency shutoff switches which are red and round, like such as this one in the same compartment. Make sure it's pulled out. If it's pushed in, it's an emergency shutoff, and you can't start the crane. Onto the cab now. Get inside the cab. On your right, here's your key. Turn it one click. Don't start the crane yet. And make sure the computer lights up. And on the right hand side, you'll see the computer doing self-diagnostics until it gets to this main screen. Then you are good to start the crane. When you crank the crane, the engine is very, very quiet. So also the red shutoff button, make sure it's pulled up. The engine is quiet, and if you crank the crane in a loud environment, you will not hear the engine. So listen closely. Okay, this is your home screen. We have started the crane. Now we'll talk about some buttons on the bottom. Those buttons are all virtual. They're touch screen. On top, it describes your drums, your drum speed, your boom speed, and your swing speed on top of the computer. Important button on the bottom left is your home screen, the little house, and on the right, a wrench and a screwdriver. Home screen on the left. If you press it, it'll put you in your working mode, and it'll tell you what your radius is, what you're good for, what your empty weight is, and your basic fuel information throttle. It also displays some other items. The wrench and the screwdriver is important, where you can disable and enable functions. If you look on your right, you'll see drums and swing and boom in gray. That means you can disable them, but they're not disabled. See right there, it's red, now it's gray. That means tracks were disabled, enabled, disabled again. And the same thing for any function. See, these buttons mean you can disable something by holding it. If it turns red, it's disabled. Turns black and gray again, it's enabled. Same goes for your drums. Okay, back to home screen. Put you back into your working mode. And your wrench and your screwdriver put you in the mode where you could disable and enable functions. Back to home and back to work. Next to home, we have a little button that shows your basic vitals, your temperatures, your fuel, and so forth. You can explore them safely. Just go back to what you were doing. Okay? The gate must be down for you to operate everything. If the gate is up, everything's disabled. On your left-hand side, here's your swing and boom up and down on the same joystick. On the right, in this particular setup, the big paddle is the big block, and the little paddle is your auxiliary hook. Your crawler pedals are on the bottom, and on your right, you have your foot throttle.